This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. It is something that affects our population in a big way, and more cases diagnosed every year, especially the aging part of our population. I'm referring to neurodegenerative diseases. Now, a lot of things out there to support that. One you probably weren't aware of. Not a lot of people are. Red light therapy can do so much. How much? Let's dig into that right now. And he is the man behind a wellness clinic in West Palm Beach, Florida, where they do this and so much more. Rick Ritter is back with us. I can call you Rick, right?
Sure, Steve. We've talked a few times.
Welcome back. How are you doing today?
Doing well. I'm in a beautiful part of the country this time of year.
You know, I'm just going to say this, a pivot for a moment. I saw a name online on social, and it turned out to be an intern I had way back in the day, and he became a TV anchor. And he apparently had family down in your area, and then he moved to St. Louis, was there for about 22 years, and in the last year or so moved to your area, and he's on one of the TV stations down there. Matt Cesney, I don't know if you ever hear his name come up.
Yes, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched I watched that channel.
He started with me. And I
Wow.
lost track of him. And then it's funny when they were saying goodbye to him on the St. Louis station, they said, well, you know, winter's coming, you're getting out of here at the right time. And he just looks up and he's like, back to Florida. Yeah, very cool. So let's talk about red light therapy addressing neurodegenerative diseases. What actually takes place with these devices that you have there at the clinic, and how does it support those challenges?
Oh boy, figured I'd get a phone call right at the same time I'm doing this, right?
Probably
Um,
Matt Cesney checking in.
yeah, it could be. I just schedule an appointment.
Listen, you got to schedule an appointment. It's important. If people need help,
Hang on one sec.
that's what we're doing here. Yeah. This is what we do in real time. This is the real deal.
Batteries, I got you. Need any of those? No, that's not what I'm thinking it is. And anyway, so basically, the red light therapy, as I've been able to do my research when it comes to, like you said, the neurodegenerative diseases. So everybody knows we're talking about Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, autism, even things like traumatic brain injury and major depression. I guess they can be classified as some of the same thing. All right. Hang on one sec.
Yeah, all good.
Hello?
This guy's busy.
Hello? Hello? Yes, ma'am. I'm on a podcast right now. Can you call me back or can I call you back?
And by the way, if you want to check him out,
All right.
westpalmwellnessclinic.com. And a lot of
All
insight
right.
on
What is
all
your
of the
name?
services they offer, not just the red light
Okay.
therapy, but GLP-1 for weight loss
Okay, Paul. We'll call you right back.
and so much more.
Yes, this is a woman who's been trying to make an appointment forever,
Wow.
and she keeps canceling for different reasons, and so now she's calling back at this point in time. Um, Basically, there's a combination of three parts from what I've read in the clinical research, and it's basically just sound and light. There is the red light therapy of the two different wavelengths for red and near infrared that are, and I will even pull this thing out. This is the helmet.
Wow. Huh.
Okay. This is the helmet that we use. And this combined with a 40 hertz blinking light bulb, which blinks at a 40 hertz pace, a little sound machine that goes in the ears that also is 40 hertz. So the blinking light bulb that we just project onto the wall or the ceiling, combined with the 40 hertz in the ear and the red light therapy, combination of those three have been clinically shown to dissolve the amyloid plaque that builds up because of the proteins in the brain. And it's called amyloid plaque in Alzheimer's, and it's called tangles in Parkinson's. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, one of the things there's no clinical trials in this because, as we kind of spoke of on one of the last podcasts, is that there's not one manufacturer of these machines that probably has the pockets deep enough to do a clinical trial and all that entails.
Hmm.
The pharmaceutical companies are the only ones that have the pockets deep enough to pay doctors and nurses and rent these buildings for years sometimes to do these clinical trials, and all they're doing is trying to show the efficacy of the drugs that they're already selling. You know, some new drugs, some drugs that they're currently doing, new takeoffs of old drugs, whatever. Um, so yeah, I've actually today been trying to look up different reasonings why the FDA clears the devices but doesn't approve them. I haven't been able, like I told you just a second ago, that haven't been able yet to determine what the difference is between clearance and approval other than the regulatory
Hmm.
difference.
But these devices, these red light therapy devices, have been proven to be effective.
Yes. Yes.
Now,
So
where
they're
where
so they're cleared.
they're cleared, the effectiveness, where was that demonstrated? Is it during trials? Is it during tests that people have done? Maybe not, you know, the FDA type trials, but some of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, just these are things that I get from a website called pubmed.org, and treatment of neurodegeneration, integrating photobiomodulation, which is the correct term of this, and neurofeedback in Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. Um, and just to read a couple, here's the results. It's a little abstract, so it doesn't give the entire. You have to actually have a clinic, I think, to look at the entire study. But the result says that PBM treated subjects showed that active treatment subjects tended to show greater improvement in the functioning of the executive, which is clock drawing, immediate recall, practical memory, and visual attention, and task switching. A larger study using a certain type of helmet in Temple, Texas, again, did subjects in a double-blind, placebo-controlled, IRB-approved FDA clinical trial demonstrated gain in memory and cognition by increased clock drawing. And then it goes on to say next generation trials with this one device for Parkinson's subjects will incorporate insights regarding, blah, 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 stuff that we're not really going to understand. But it was kind of the same with the other one, that it shows that it helps. It shows that it helps in many different parts of that disease.
Hmm.
So, like I said, I just read the one that had an FDA, what did it say? An IRB, a placebo-controlled IRB approved FDA clinical trial. Say that quickly.
That's way past my pay grade.
Exactly.
When
So
we talk
they've done
about
things. Yeah.
how it addresses these diseases, what do you hear in terms of offering relief or improving somebody's cognitive skills or whatever it might be? What have you heard that the red light therapy can do?
Well, the only um, I guess personal story that I've heard, and I'm free to send it to anybody. It's on a podcast done by two of the women who have been in this red light therapy industry. They have a podcast called Let's Keep It Light,
Hmm.
and they have about 23, 24 episodes, and two episodes that I've sent to different people. It's episode 11 and episode 18 in particular talks to a woman who has Alzheimer's. They're sitting there talking to her because she had Alzheimer's. She'd started doing treatment with these ladies, saw a benefit, and ended up purchasing the machine herself. So instead of having to go to their place 3 times a day, however often she did, she's now able to do it 3 times a day in the comfort of her own home. And she sits there from a first person basis and tells you how she has come back from where she was. And she even says, I may not ever be cured, but I'm able to do things that I wasn't able to do months ago. And
Wow.
it's completely, she gives all the credit to the red light therapy. I mean, her husband had to stop working. He's now back to work. She's able to feed herself. She's able to get up and do normal tasks that she wasn't able to do for quite a while. And to me, that's powerful. When you're talking to someone who has the disease currently, battling with this thing, and it can helped her. I mean, I just can't believe that it's not being shouted from the rooftops, so to speak.
And especially, and I want to put that in bold, italics, whatever we got to do, parentheses, especially, there's no side effects.
Right.
What's to worry about? It's like, it's light. It's not, there's no adverse effects, if any, where some of these meds or some of the even clinical trials on meds, they don't know. They have an idea. That's how they find out if they have side effects.
Exactly. After they do it on the rats and the mice in the laboratory, then when they show it's not going to kill people, then it's when they start the clinical trials. And, you're right. I mean, we all sit there and listen to all the different drugs that are constantly being promoted on TV, on television, and on radio. And you sit there and listen to how many side effects there are.
The disclaimer. Yeah.
Yeah. Possible death. Okay.
And here's the other part of it, because I've had, different issues, skin cancer and stuff. I've tried different meds, and a lot of those trials are done on like 80 people. That's it. Short sample that they do them on. And if one person happened to pass away just from natural causes, it was during the trial, they have to document that. The med had nothing to do with that, but they also have to document. With red light therapy, there's nothing to worry about. So I just don't understand why it would not be fully cleared. Why not give it a try? If approved, it's been cleared. You already cleared it, the FDA. Why not approve?
They've cleared numerous of these devices, throughout the proliferation of red light therapies and wraps and blankets and face masks and all sorts of other stuff that's out there. I mean, we know that that it works. Like you said, it's been working. It's been used for pain, skin rejuvenation, wound healing for decades, but it's because I guess the biggest thing is because the purveyors of it, the practitioners of it are so dispersed, if you will. There's not like a red light therapy. God, I'm trying to think, like a pharmaceutical group would, they have the groups, whatever. There's not a red light therapy group. Now that I'm talking about this, maybe I'll see what I can do about seeing how we can get people together and pony up some money from each of these little clinics to get something shown so we can actually get out there and say, hey, look how well this stuff does for so many things that we have. I mean, the more I use it, I mean, I use it for rotator cuffs issues, my degenerative back issues. I use it for some irritable bowel issues. I'm starting using it for that. I mean, my wife uses it for hip issues. I mean, the stuff works. If the very least, it helps with the pain. I mean, it may not bring something, if you're bone on bone, it's not going to sit there and regenerate your cartilage.
Right.
But it will take away some of the pain that does that because it helps regenerate the cells of the area that is being treated.
And this is personal experience. that you've had with it.
Yeah,
Side note, I don't know if it exists, but maybe start a Facebook group that would go nationwide, and both people that offer the therapy and also people that have used it could chime in there. Could be powerful. Could be powerful.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the more like I said before, I think it's the education, educating people that is one of the bigger things holding this back from really
Yeah.
exploding. Because I mean, I also offer GLP-1s for weight loss. And if you were to do a 12-week, a 3-month protocol with the GLP-1s versus my red light therapy, on one hand, they're comparable price wise. You know, the GLP-1s will help you lose weight, but it won't help your skin tighten. It won't help build the collagen below the skin. Now, you may lose weight a little quicker with the GLP-1, depending on, different factors. But then again, you're also not getting the benefits because it's not only weight loss that red light therapy helps with, it helps with the actual regeneration and the energy production on a cellular level, all the way down into the mitochondria and things called ATP. I mean, our cells use either ATP or glucose for energy. Okay, so when the glucose is gone, they need to use the ATP. Red light therapy enhances the production of the ATP. It's a vasodilator, so it actually increases the blood flow into the areas that you're treating, which is, something else that helps in healing. So, it's like I said, the only thing that I've seen that can happen with this is you can get a mild sunburn if you use it too much beyond what the recommended thing is.
Sure. Well, that's why you go to a center like yours where it's done the right way. And that sunburn, I have to imagine it's just a skin irritation. It's not the same UV rays that come from the sun where it's a legit sunburn.
Right, correct, correct. Because actually, the people that use it actually do say they do feel some heat, but it's actually not heat from the machine itself. It's the heat that's generated from within the body with the cells starting to energize more than they were.
You've mentioned it before. Let's circle back for just a sec for weight loss. So you offer their GLP-1 treatments. Let's say somebody just used the red light therapy. Would that help them lose weight as well?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I've got several women that are in it. And like I said, one of the women that worked for me had to take a hiatus for about a month and a half, and she's back now, but she lost 1 inch in her circumference of her waist in one treatment. Now, the subsequent treatments I think she did one or two more, she only lost maybe a half an inch and maybe a little more than a half inch on the subsequent ones. But just shows you that it is a viable alternative. And if you have a lot of weight to lose and you combine that with the GLP-1, you can really lose a substantial amount of weight in a short period of time. And you'll be doing because you're attacking it from two different angles, from the hunger standpoint, and then from emptying the fat cells in the body and then getting rid of that. So,
And then also, I would imagine that the elasticity, the quality of your skin in that area is going to improve as well.
yes, yes, it will.
Mm, wow. I'm blown away with one treatment. That's what somebody experienced. And with GLP-1, there are side effects or can be.
Right, right. I mean, everybody's different, but yeah, there's usually some, at least for the first few weeks while your body acclimates, to it.
Exactly. And there's so many different ones, abdominal issues, cramping, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nausea. Wow. See, all these things that most people aren't aware of, don't talk about, that all come from red light therapy treatment. What was it for you, Rick, that sold you on it? When you were first thinking about opening a center and started hearing things about red light therapy, what was the what sealed the deal for you?
Probably just the fact that it's natural, that it doesn't involve drugs, it doesn't involve surgery. That was probably because I am a firm believer that our body is an amazing machine that can heal itself of many, many issues that we will deal with if it's in a balanced state.
Yep.
That is the catch 22. And even the healthiest person is not in total balance, you know. But the more in balance your body is, the easier it is for it to take care of these issues that it has. So that's what I would say would probably be that, and talking to some people who have actually used it for some areas, and talking to the practitioners that I was being trained with, and some of the clients that they had, seeing some of the results they had in the body contouring, not necessarily in the weight loss, but that's the one thing. GLP is going to take it from wherever it is. I had a woman come in, and she was worried about losing her butt.
Now what?
I said, well, the GLP-1 is going to take it from wherever it takes it from.
Right.
At least with the red light therapy, you can target certain areas.
Exactly. Wow.
So
for you, when you started learning about it, you had a lot of information. It felt so reasonable that you should be offering this. And then did it blow your mind too, as you got deeper into it, talking to people, hearing cases that really had some great results? That kind of like push you over the cliff, like no brainer. This is the way to go.
Yeah, and it's not just for the weight loss. I mean, I've got two machines, one for weight loss, one for pain and inflammation, that can also be used for the neurodegenerative diseases. But just to know how much red light helps our body. I mean, there is a compound called nitric oxide.
Yep.
And that is produced by the linings of our cell, or lining of our vascular system. And just like anything else, as we age, less and less is produced. But that is such an important compound in our body. I mean, it controls our respiratory system first and foremost. And it's funny because an overabundance of that same compound can actually block the cells from doing their natural energy production. So the red light therapy not only helps produce the nitric oxide that we're lacking as we get older, but it also helps unblock those cells that may be, I guess, blocked by the nitric oxide. I mean, I'm still, like I said, this is still a learning curve for me to learn how everything works together. But it's just amazing how this one compound is so important in the overall functioning of our body in so many different ways.
And how many of us have no idea, not even a clue.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're in West Palm. Obviously, you have to be there for this treatment. This stuff can't be done virtually. What's the best way, Rick, for somebody to connect with you?
Well, they can visit our website, westpalmwellnessclinic.com. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram account, and they can call us at area code 561-247-7372. And I guess that's about.
Yeah, just reach out. You got questions, you're there. Yep, you are the point person. Yeah. And also, so many people travel to Florida, especially during the winter, especially West Palm Beach on that coast. Make that part of your trip. I mean, I'm in the New York area. It's like
right. They stay for 3 to 4 months. That's a perfect, opportunity to try this for a 12-week period. I've already put this out there, I think, on several of the podcasts. I'm looking for people with early stage Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, to do some very, very low cost, basically at my cost, treatments, so I can develop some case studies in this.
fantastic. And by the way, again, no side effects. What do you have to lose?
Right.
A little bit of time, so a little bit of expense, and you're working with somebody just so we can demonstrate this does make a difference in the lives of people. dealing with
Right.
these diseases.
And you don't know how many people just your results will help, that will
And then there's
convince
that.
them to go, hey, let me try this. It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing everything today. Every time we get together, I learn more. It's awareness, it's education, and so many people dealing, and not just those dealing with it, their family members dealing with people that have neurodegenerative diseases. Rick, thanks a lot. We'll catch up soon. Okay,
Yeah, Steve, let's call me on the backside whenever you have a moment.
you got it. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.